This was a game that I had in a tournament, and what does white play if black plays bishop takes f5, which was played in the game. You can pause the video here if you want to try to solve it. So in this position I played rook takes f5, and my opponent did not take back. Instead they played bishop to d6. But let's calculate what happens if they take back. So king to d7 is better than king to e7, because this is checkmate. And after king to d7, now queen to c7. If king to d6, then bishop to f4 is checkmate. And bishop e6 check. This is a deflection tactic, so now they have to play king to d8. If they take on e6, then queen takes c7. If they play king to d6, then bishop f4 wins the queen. So king to d8. And now the best move is bishop to g5 check. And they can block with bishop to e7. If they play king to e8, then queen takes queen. Now queen takes rook, forces checkmate. Here's a quote about chess that I like. It is not about the position currently on the board. The master is sacrificed to peace. You don't know what the sacrifice is going to lead to yet, and holding your breath, you follow the ensuing events. But then the situation becomes clear. The master declares checkmate against his opponent. How did he find that combination? How did he discern it among the dozens of other moves and possibilities? Mikhail Tal from the book 1000 Checkmate Combinations by Viktor Henkin. So in this position, this was a game that I had as white, and I was playing against a chess master in a tournament. And so in this position, I played rook to c6. So the question is, what is the point of this move? Again, pause the video here. Rook c6 is an active move that freezes the c7 pawn. In endgame, piece activity is crucial. White has an advantage because the a7 rook is temporarily trapped until black can maneuver their king to defend the pawn. Nonetheless, a king on d8 still does not allow the black rook to escape. Meanwhile, my rooks are doubled and active. I was able to later convert this advantage into a victory. Here is another quote about chess, which is not related to the position on the board. When one of us first plays chess, he is like a man who has already caught a dose of microbes of, say, Hong Kong flu. Such a man walks along the street, and he does not yet know that he is ill. He is healthy, he feels fine, but the microbes are doing their work. Something similar, though less harmful, occurs in chess. You have just been shown that the knight moves like the Russian letter G, the bishop diagonally, the castle, not the rook, in a straight line, and the queen likes her own color. You lost the first game, but at some time, if your father or your elder brother or simply an old friend wants to be kind to you, then you win, and as a result feel very proud of yourself. A few days pass, and suddenly you involuntarily begin to sense that, without chess, there is something missing in your life. Then you may rejoice. You belong to that group of people without a natural immunity to the chess disease. Mikhail Tal. So in this position, white just played bishop to f3, and black responds with bishop to b7. After bishop b7, how does white turn their positional advantage into a tactical victory? Pause the video here if you want to try to solve it. This was also a game that I had played in a tournament, and I was playing white and I played in this position knight to a4. And the only square the rook can move to is b4, and bishop to d2 picks up the rook. Here was an example of a positional advantage space, inducing the opponent to make a tactical blunder. Here was a game that I was playing in a tournament, and I was playing white, and in this position it's black to move, and they played the move b5. So I captured and played pawn to b4 here, with eyes on the b5 pawn. Here black played queen to d7. How can white produce a winning tactical motif? Pause the video here. The engine found a few interesting lines, and I didn't play the best moves, but I found some good moves. And in this position, I played b takes c5, which the engine agrees with, and then I played knight to e5. The engine here likes bishop to f4, threatening pawn to d6, with a double attack on the bishop and the knight, and then gives the following line. b4 attacks the knight. So this hits the rook on b8, and now queen takes d1. So instinctively you would want to take back with the rook on the b file, because after taking back with the rook on the e file, there's pawn to c2. The engine actually says that after rook b takes d1, it's plus 1.7, and after rook e takes d1, it's plus 5. Now here, if rook c8, then rook takes b7. So c2. And white's up a rook. After knight to e5, the engine thinks a better move than what was played in the game is queen to d8. But my opponent played queen to d6, and now I play bishop to f4. And now they played queen to b6. Here, the engine actually found you can trap the queen here with knight to c4, and now the pawn is pinned on the b file, so they can't capture. And they can't go to any of these squares, so they have to go to the a file. If queen a7, then bishop takes c7, pawn takes c4, and rook a1. Bishop a6 and bishop takes b8 is good. After queen a6, now you could take the knight on c7, but this knight's hit here. And now rook a1 traps the queen, so maybe b4. After queen b6, I found the move knight to c6, which is an interesting pattern. This attacks the rook and the bishop, and it's a good outpost for the knight. So they can't leave the knight there, so bishop takes c6. Now they played rook f to d8. If they tried to take here, then pawn to e5 is a discovered attack and wins the knight. In this position, they played rook f to d8, and then I played knight to d5. So this is a double attack, and so they have to trade. I have two protected passed pawns on the 5th and 6th rank, and they played bishop to d6. And the engine says I'm up 4 points here. Queen e2 is good because now if knight takes, then I have mate. Here's another position from a tournament game that I had, and in this position I was playing white and it's black to move. For this puzzle, instead of thinking of moves, describe why this knight is better than this bishop. You can pause the video here. Here is an excellent example of a positional advantage for white due to their superior minor piece. The black bishop can never challenge the white knight when it rests on the outpost on d5. Additionally, black has a weak backwards pawn on d6. The pawn structure functions to restrict the black bishop, which has trouble finding activity. When I was playing this game, I made sure to make trades of minor pieces with this end result in my mind. The theme of this lecture, as you might have noticed, was tournaments. I wanted to give a shout out to the Chicago Chess Center. If you're in the Chicago area or the state of Illinois, be sure to stop by. They have tournaments, blitz, open play, lessons, and camps. I myself have played in their events and I highly recommend it. Their goal is to make chess within everyone's reach. Located at 47 West Polk Street in downtown Chicago. If you like this video and want to see more, make sure to like and subscribe.